I recently got the chance to speak on stage. By the way, my name is Ashton. I'm the founder of Active Solutions AI, where we build CRM solutions that double your booking rates. I recently got the chance to speak on stage, and I got a lot of amazing, incredible feedback, specifically about one part, and it was sales. And I was told I was able to kind of break it down in a way where it was very easy to understand. And I think a problem that people have is they try to make sales very, very complex. There are all these like nuanced things and like a science to the structure of how you conduct a sales call, etc. But if you break it down to human psychology, the very basic level of what's important and what you should and shouldn't be doing, it's a lot easier than how people make it look. So I did want to just show you guys a clip from this presentation of going over exactly that. And I genuinely believe that if there's anything to take away, I think it's the information from this specific roughly 10-minute portion of this presentation. I think you can apply it to your business or whatever it is that you're doing right now, and I think you will immediately start seeing results. So grab a notebook and enjoy.
Okay, last stage. This is closes. Arguably sales. Arguably my least favorite, but I think it's the most important. 3 big determining factors when it comes to getting someone to convert on the back end. Number 1 is rapport. A lot of people don't think rapport is important. I think it is one of the most important things that you can do, because it goes perfectly into number 2, which is information gathering and discovery. If you open up the call with, hey, I'm a human, I'm not a salesperson, crack a joke, give them a kiss, whatever you got to do to build the rapport, it makes step 2 so much easier, because now they're comfortable with you and they're more willing to give you the answers to the questions that you are asking. And you need those, because the only way to craft a pitch or an offer or whatever it might be and package it so it seems like it's perfectly made for your client is to get the information that you need. And lastly is conviction, which I think is also very important, but I'll dive a little bit deeper into these. Here's another good screen. So, discovery milestones. Whenever you're conducting a sales call or demo or consultation, whatever you want to call it, I have a Post-it note and I write all these down, and anytime I'm personally conducting one, I will cross them off as I cover all of these milestones throughout the call so that I know I get all the information that I need. Now again, I'm trying to package as much information as I can in a period of 40 minutes, so there's a lot more to this, but I'm trying to give as much juice as I can. So, number 1, problem. Why are we here? Why are we on this call? What's the problem that I can potentially solve for you? 2, current efforts on the problem. What are you currently doing to solve that problem? What do you think is holding you back? This gives you a really good idea of what the person thinks or why the person is not succeeding and like what their thought process is. How long have you been in this position? What have you tried in the past? And then the desire, which is, what is the goal? Another thing is, don't interrogate them. So when you have it listed out like that, it's really easy to just kind of power through and start asking questions. It never goes well. You want to be personable, relate to the person, be conversational, ask probing questions, etc. Now, there are 2 sides to sales. And just out of curiosity, so logical selling and emotional selling. Just out of curiosity, who thinks they're more of a logical seller when they're on a console? And who thinks they're more of an emotional seller? Okay, I thought it was going to be the other way around. So I'm probably more 80%, well, and some of you in the front, you probably didn't turn around to see everything. It was probably like 70% of the room was emotional and 30% of the room was logical. I'm probably 80% logic and 20% emotion. But in anything fitness and health related, it's going to be a little bit more emotional, and it has to be. But you don't want to keep it all emotional, because here's something to keep in mind. Emotions are temporary. And if you sell with 100% emotion, that's when you get chargebacks, you get people asking for refunds. You know, that feeling eventually goes away. But if you can get someone to logically understand why they need to make a change, it's so much more significant. But again, you need a little bit of both. And here's an example of the types of questions you ask to kind of like make a consult that specifically. Some logical questions. So, you've tried to do it yourself for the last 10 years. Should you keep doing that, or should you seek help? Logically, if the last 10 years hasn't worked out, you should probably get some help. Can you commit to 3 to 5 hours per week into something that can finally get you results? You can probably do that logically, right? 3 to 5 hours a week, that's not crazy to finally get your results after 10 years. Now, the emotional side. If the next year looks like the last 10 years, how's that going to make you feel? Now, here's one really important thing to note. I don't like being on the other end of a sales call, and I can tell that they're trying to make me emotional, right? That's I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but like that's one of the things you kind of have to get around when you're asking direct emotional questions. People tend to get squirmy and like uncomfortable sometimes. So one way to get around that and still get emotional answers to emotional questions is by probing, like, why? What do you mean? How? Whatever it might be. And I'll give you an example. Has it been hard achieving X, Y, and Z goal, and why? So has it been hard trying to lose 20 pounds the last 10 years? Yeah, it's been super tough. It sucks. Why? Well, because I don't have energy throughout the day, and I can't go out with my friends on the weekends anymore. You can't go out with friends on the weekends? What do you mean? Because the clothes that I used to wear when I go out, they don't fit me the same anymore. Oh, okay. So now we just got the emotional answers to the emotional questions without directly making them uncomfortable. They give us that information themselves. So this is a huge, huge cheat code when it comes to conducting a sales call. And again, I know I'm calling it a sales call. Sales is really just helping someone make the best decision for themselves. If you're on the other end of the call and you feel like, or even if they're in person, and you feel like you can't genuinely help the person, then you should point them away in a different direction. Don't sell someone just for the sake of selling them. Like, help someone make the right decision for them. All right, now why do we do all this? Because your product or service should be exclusively made for the person that's in front of you. So if you get enough information, you can package it so that it's a perfect solution. So for example, it's no longer, we help you lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, or whatever it might be. It's in 6 weeks, we'll get you closer to losing that 20 pounds so that you can have more energy throughout the day and fit back in to those clothes that you used to wear when you used to go out, and you can start going out again on the weekends. Now, what's more valuable? You can associate so much more value to a personalized solution. And then lastly, conviction. Conviction is one of the most powerful things I think you can possibly have when it comes to selling your product or service. Conviction is how much you personally believe in your own product or service. And more importantly, when you start to grow a team, how much conviction or how much your team believes in your product or service. Because that will start to show as well. The trick with conviction is that in order to earn it, and it has to be earned, conviction is earned, in order to earn it, you have to help people. But in order to help people, you have to sell people. So it's a full circle. But conviction spreads very easily, and people will feel that on the other end of the call. But if you continue to help people, they're going to have conviction in you as well. And they know people. So their conviction spreads, and then that comes back full circle, and that's how you gain an organic audience as well. So one big thing that I want to leave you guys with, and I genuinely, this thing is, all this stuff has changed my life, and I know this is a lot of information, but I really want to give you guys practical information that you're able to take and utilize. So if you are thinking about running paid ads, and you've never ran them before, or maybe you're running them and you're not doing it very well, just start at the top of the funnel. The theory of constraints. Find out what the constraint is, right? Are you having trouble generating leads? Then figure it out. If those leads just aren't booking appointments, right, and they're low-quality leads, and a lot of the time, I mean, we break down businesses all the time, and a lot of the time, there's some misbeliefs in there. Like it's not necessarily the leads are low quality. It looks like that you called 5% of them. So that's also an issue. But if people aren't showing up, fix that problem. If people aren't closing, then we need to work on sales. Thank you guys so much. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate you.
Give it up for Ashton.